today's topic is that if somebody has to prepare in very less time for CLAT, okay, what are the challenges we are talking about? What challenges we are facing, and how can we best handle them, right? So one thing that we can start from is past year's papers. I think past year's papers is something that, when I was preparing, it was like my, what do I say, compass, right? You go through like the compass, shows you which direction to go. I think your past year papers are kind of like that. By looking at the past year papers over many years, and now there are like, what 2008 to now, so there are 12 years of CLAT paper, 11 years of CLAT papers, past year's papers. By looking at them, you can tell a lot about what kind of uh, questions have been coming and what people think. And of course, the papers are different. There are different kind of questions. Sometimes the pattern also changes. But if you go through all of it, it kind of gives you a sense of what the law teachers or law academicians think as important while admitting students. Like what has been the different philosophies or ideas that people have pursued to frame these question papers. So I think that is a one great starting point, which I think also reduces the amount of time that one actually invests, because there's a high chance when you're preparing for an exam like that to go in the wrong direction and spend a lot of time and read a lot and learn a lot, but in the wrong direction, right? And
Yeah.
the purpose of when you're cracking an exam, the focus should be that not that I'm learning a lot of things. That's not going to help. What's going to help is if I focus on what is going to enable me to crack that exam. So if you can throw some light on that from your
No, I think you're absolutely right. Especially if you have a short preparation time, you need to identify what your weaknesses are right away, because everybody has some strengths that they're good at. So for me, in my case, it was English. I didn't have to put too much effort into the English section. My weakness, and so I took a couple of past year's papers, and it became extremely clear that I would have to work on the critical reasoning and the GK sections quite intensely. So it filters it out really quickly. You know where not to waste your limited bandwidth and where to target and what to target your attention towards. So that's one thing. The other thing is, the more you keep taking test papers, your time management improves quite exponentially. So even if you're just studying in the air, you're reading newspapers every day and you're practicing maths questions and you're doing a lot of other critical reasoning problems, you can't get a sense of how you're going to perform in that constrained time setting. So it's extremely important to keep taking tests.
When you're practicing, maybe you can identify questions, and then you can see the questions you are answering correctly but taking too long to answer. I think those are the first to target. That can you reduce the time you're taking by using either some technique, or maybe some teacher can help you to figure out how to solve this quickly. Maybe you can understand the basics better, then you'll be able to solve them faster. But the idea is that the ones that are frequently coming, the types of questions are frequently being asked, can you reduce the time? If you're correctly answering them already, can you reduce the time you're taking so that it comes under the cutoff you set for that type of question? For GK, for example, I had a rule that, I'm not going to spend more than 10 seconds on a GK question. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, because it's not likely that if I, instead of 15 seconds, what if I spend 1 minute? Will I answer it better? And my experience was no. Like, by spending more time, you're not going to answer it more accurately.
Yeah, you know it or you don't know it.
So I think the very important factor either way would be here to be able to identify types of questions. I mean, how you are going to use your time in the next 1 month, that could change the outcome. So maybe you can tell the story of yours. You're saying that when you started doing the mock test, you're not doing well. Then how did you came from there to topping the exam? What was the journey?
I was doing extremely badly the first time I was taking these tests, and I just kept doing more and more tests, because ultimately this is not a giant knowledge building exercise. You're not going into this with the idea that you'll write an academic paper or a book on what you're studying. You're just going there to crack an exam, right? So the more tests you keep taking, you get familiar with the kind of questions that come, and then your brain automatically starts clicking in terms of being able to identify phrases that are important in critical reasoning, what you need to look for, how do you quickly draw Venn diagrams. Your time management becomes really good overall. And I found that your ability to spot patterns, especially for logical reasoning and legal reasoning, also becomes really good. So I would 100% recommend taking a test a day if possible, and using your remaining time to brush up, especially GK, because GK changes, it's hard. It's a lot to study. And if you just have a month left and you haven't really done a lot on the GK front, I would recommend devoting 2-3 hours to GK every day if you can. I personally think that the GK section can make or break you because it's such a big chunk of the question paper. And if you know the answers, it gets done really quickly. So that's pretty great.
That's pretty great, yeah. What about the English section? Like, is there something people can do at this moment to improve their English? Or improve their score in English at least?
Yeah, I think a lot of times that depends on the format of the paper. In my case, the paper was heavily comprehension based. You had these 4 gigantic passages from where you had to deduce all these answers. And I was served by the advantage of having a fast reading speed, actually. So that worked in my favor. Again, I'm just going to say to keep practicing, to make.
So that is very interesting. In fact, you know, you can improve your reading speed overnight. What do you think of negative marking? How to handle negative marking?
Yeah, so the thing is, in my year, there wasn't negative marking. So take this advice for somebody who's written exams with negative marking, but not CLAT. What I would advise is to bucket your categories of questions into 3 categories. One is, I absolutely don't know what the answer is, and you don't touch that. You don't even go close to it. You ignore it and you throw that question out of your
existence. It doesn't exist.
Don't
right?
touch it.
So you should answer the ones that you can answer. You definitely know the answer. You should answer them first, right?
Yeah, just go for those first, and then take a look for the next bucket. It's questions you're pretty sure you can answer, but you kind of are a little bit unsure.
But you have to like apply your mind or like something like that.
Yeah,
remember something.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the amount we definitely know is not likely to be more than 25 to 30% of the paper. So you have to play some calculated risks at that point of time. So I would say for the questions you're mostly sure you know how to solve those after that.